Are you looking to make dreadlocks out of ShapeShifter or another high temperature fiber? I'll show you how in this video. High heat fiber can make a really durable, strong dread, whereas the low temperature fibers can make a really good dread, but they will come unbound much sooner. So in order to make one with our high temperature fiber, the first thing that we need to do is separate the amount of hair that we're going to use away from our bundle. Then we're going to secure our fiber. For us, we're going to use a dread loom. If you don't have one, just clip this fiber to something by one end. You're going to need one end free. Backcombing for dreads, whether it's a high heat fiber or a low heat fiber, is generally the same. We're going to do big sweeping passes, and then we're going to do smaller refined passes as we go. And we're just going to continue pushing in those small, tiny refined loops as we go. And we're just turning it a little bit to make sure that we're not just focusing on the one side. When you're using a silky fiber like this, you just need to kind of rotate it with your fingers a bit to make sure that you're getting it from all angles. You'll know that your fiber has been backcombed enough when you can actually stand it up. We look like we're pretty good on this side. Now it's time to flip our fiber. When you flip your fiber, you're going to make sure that as you place it back in the loom or wherever it's clipped to your surface, that the part that you clip has actually already been backcombed. So I'm going to position this with a little bit of my backcombing sticking over the edge. And we're going to secure the top. And we're ready to start our backcombing again. You can use a little wonder brush for the larger sweeping passes. I don't recommend a brush like this to do the smaller passes, as it doesn't get them quite as tight as your comb will. So you can do it about to this point, but then you'll need to switch so that it gets in there deeper. And we're gonna do the larger sweeping passes, and again, getting a lot tighter with each pass. So you should have tighter and tighter and tighter knots throughout your dread. For sealing your high temperature fiber dreads, I really do prefer to use the iron method. I'm securing my dread with the dread loom. If you are working on a batch, you can actually do many at the same time. So this works really nice. Now, you'll need at least 2 towels. These are about hand towel size. And you'll need a bucket of water. Since I'm right-handed, I'm keeping them all to my right. So I'm gonna put my towels in, let those fill up with water. And I'm gonna set my iron so that it's on a very high temperature. We're going to be using the steam from the towels to saturate all the way through to the core of our high temperature fiber. So, let me grab one of the towels. I'm gonna wring it through, make sure that it's fully saturated. Squeeze out the water. You want it to be wet, but you don't want it to be dripping wet. Okay, now we're going to take it over to our ironing board, and we're going to position it directly underneath our dread. Then, we're gonna take our dread and we're gonna start twisting. We're gonna twist so that it's tight and that all of the loops from the dread are then pushed down into the center. That's gonna create a nice, smooth seal on the outside. We're not gonna try to twist the rest of the dread. We're only gonna work in sections at a time. So we're gonna take this and fold it over our dread, and then I'm gonna take my other hand and I'm gonna pinch it through the towel. Okay, I'm gonna flatten everything out, and then I'm gonna take my iron. Make sure you don't iron your cord, and steam that all the way through to the center. Now, somebody has asked me if doing this will actually make your dreads flat. And no, it won't, because if you have the dread tightly twisted, it's going to create a nice cylinder all the way down. So I'm gonna open it back up. I'm gonna move it over, give it a couple more twists. So this is the first pass on the second start of this dread. I'm gonna flip. Make sure that you're moving your towel because you need all of that fresh water. Any place that the towel has already been hit with the iron won't work anymore. It's not wet enough. All of that steam has been forced out of the towel. So if you need to switch, go ahead and switch your towels as well. That'll make sure that you're always having enough water to force that through. Okay, give it a little bit more of a twist. Reposition my towel, flip it over. If you keep your fingers underneath the towel, just be careful because that steam will go out and under, so your fingers are a little bit at a higher chance of getting some heat applied to them. And that can be quite uncomfortable. Okay. So that part's sealed. We're just gonna keep working to the ends. Okay, so now we're ready to seal just the ends. So we're just going to keep twisting as best we can. And then taking that tiniest little bit and applying heat. Be really careful, your fingers are gonna be pretty close. Okay, open that up. Make sure that it's twisted to the point you want it to. Okay, and we're just gonna hold it until that heat dissipates. Okay, just a few seconds. And now we can clip these ends or leave them loose. Okay, that completes our finished side. We're ready to flip our entire batch. So we're going to let this go, flip, and secure it back down. We've left a little bit that we've already sealed coming out of the top. That'll make sure that our seal goes all the way across the dread. So from here, we're going to switch our towels if you haven't yet. So just drop that in the water. Remember to give your towel a good wring in the water. Remember, wet but not drippy, that's the key. So we'll spread this out. The nice thing about doing the iron method is you have the equivalent of a really high-powered steamer, except you're actually doing about 8 inches instead of doing 1 inch at a time. So this method is actually very, very, very fast and very efficient. Okay, now we're ready to steam that. When you start to hear the steam kind of die out, that's when you know it's not really doing anything anymore and you can move. Okay, just give it a little bit more of a twist. Move our towel, cover it up, and hit it again. And just like before, we're gonna continue working down the length of our dreadlock. Thanks for watching. And if you liked this video, make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a beat. And if you need products for your projects, check out doctoredlocks.com for all your hair extension needs.